Now, I want to talk about how critical thinking is being brought to bear in the Middle East debate, the Israel versus Hamas debate. So many people seem to suspend any critical thinking. A lot of people have been accusing the school protesters and others of this sort of thing. Here was me last week. Our kids are being brainwashed, and they're being brainwashed with lies and with hate. OK, Tim, so that's the criticism, and many people would agree with me. So cut to the pro-Palestine protest at the school strike in Melbourne last week, and here's the response from the kids.
Are we brainwashed? No! Are we brainwashed?
Are we brainwashed? No! And you, in your blog, Tim, you pointed out so brilliantly that this is very redolent of the great Monty Python's Life of Brian scene. Have a look.
Look, you've got it all wrong. You don't need to follow me. You don't need to follow anybody. You've got to think for yourselves. You're all individuals. Yes, we're all individuals. You're all different. Yes, we are all different. I'm not.
That's Tim Blair saying, I'm not. You spot a lot of similarities here, Tim.
Well, Monty Python's body of work was so huge and was produced with such intensity over a relatively short period of time that it's left us with quotes and repeatable moments for the ages. I think there were even some appropriate Monty Python extracts that were useful when various Monty Python members complained about the result of the Ashes tests this year, and we were able to throw back at them, various bits of them making fun of the members of Lords and so on. So, but this one's a very, very opposite, because not only is it, the Life of Brian, it's all very biblical and Middle Eastern, but it gets back to what you're talking about, this sort of brainwashing aspect. And nothing to me says that we're not brainwashed than thousands of people chanting simultaneously that they're not brainwashed. Plainly they're not.
Yeah,
Jeez.
it's rather Freudian, I would have thought. Now, I want to talk to you about another modern health hazard, and this is apparently selfies. We know how annoying selfies are. We know that our politicians like Kevin Rudd and Malcolm Turnbull were in love with selfies, but increasing numbers of people are dying, like falling off cliffs or off waterfall ledges because they're taking selfies. There have been a number of cases here. We're going through some headlines here. And the analysts tell us that the victims are most likely to be female tourists in their early 20s. But there's blokes as well, don't worry.
Absolutely. Now, this gets back to a modern trend of just basically not paying attention unless a screen is involved. But it must be so awful. And, being serious for a second, it must be so awful for the families of people who've died in such ridiculous circumstances to receive, I suppose, the telephones or the devices that their lost loved one was using at that moment, and see the final image, and it's someone tipping off the back of a thing into a pool or something and drowning, or hurting themselves in other ways. It's got to be devastating to lose people in those trivial circumstances.
Yeah, it would be horrific. A lot of the times they would get the phone back. It reminds me, though, of those Darwin Awards. This is Darwinism at work in many cases.
Yeah, absolutely. And the message is, I'm prevented from performing selfies for obvious reasons. I think I'm outlawed in all the mainland states from photographing myself or being. I don't know how Sky gets away with it every week. Seriously.
Yeah, no, you post a selfie and people start praising David Letterman. That's the way it goes.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us again, Tim. We'll catch you next week.
Thanks, mate.